Hi guys, this is Dr. Aeronautics, and I believe this is Norsden Land to Neso episode 36. As you can see on this map, we are going to build a launch facility, but we're not going to build all of this stuff at once. Actually, what we're building is a space center, and the launch facility is just one portion of it. There's basically four parts. I'm not going to spend too much time going over it, but basically there's the pads, and then there's the support buildings, and then there's the shipping and receiving, and then there's the airport. So, to give you some updates, I've made some cool stuff, I'm wearing some cool stuff, and we're going to take the cool stuff, which is mostly loaded on that ship there, down to the Space Center, which is there. And it's not the Space Center yet, but it's about to be. And we're going to build something, and we're going to launch something at the end of this episode, and it's not going to be small. So to update you, I am wearing this thing, which is kind of, let's just say it's not from this age of technology. Turns out there's been this place that I haven't been telling you about, like that happens in real life. It happens in real life, but there's this place that I haven't been telling you about that has a bunch of crazy stuff that shouldn't exist at this time period, but does, because people are crazy. So there you go. I now have this suit which permits gliding. So the word's out. So I'm literally waiting on the rest of this steel to go through, and then we're going to go ahead and depart. So I'm going to actually stop the video now, and I will see you guys down there at the launch facility. Okay, so I also forgot that I actually needed to build something after that that steel came through. But anyway, so to update you, I know it's been a very long time since we've done like an actual series episode. Let me tell you, by the way, that where is it? Here it is. This is Route W45. It goes all the way from ocean to, or rather, it's sea to shining sea. This road W45, I have now completed. It crosses Norsden land. As well, the price of green dye is now falling at the rate that these cactuses are growing. So green dye is no longer going to be expensive, so certainly don't invest in it. There you go. There is my thing in action. Anyway, just to go back to the roads. N1, the north-south coastal route that goes on the east coast, is also complete. It goes from the northernmost point of the north coast, or rather the east coast, which I believe is, yeah, it's definitely Forest Point. And the goes all the way down through the Space Center. Well, actually not through, but by the Space Center. And continues on all the way down to South Point East, which is almost the southernmost point of Norsden land. South Point West is actually the southernmost point. But that's more not exactly on the east coast. That's further inland. By the way, here is Route N1 right there. And also, its conjugate, or inverse or opposite, whatever you want to call it, N100 on the west coast is also complete. I'm sorry, no. Nope, it's not complete, not anywhere near it. But it is a little bit... It is a little bit in building. Let me see, what have I done so far on N100? N100 now goes from just above Westport to just below let me see. It's just above Westport. I'm not. My mind is completely out of it. It's just above Westport to just below. Just below. Oh man, what's that city called? I have to show you guys that city because there's this library there that is on the top of a giant tower, like the Tower of Orthonac from the Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, that's a pretty cool library. I forget what I named that city. It's like Senthin, something like that. Anyway, I will show you guys some other time. See you when we get to the Space Center. Yeah, so I've actually never seen something like this before, but if you look over there, there is a sandbar island that is just like 1 square meter. It's like those crazy things you see in the Caribbean where... Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, we do have some. I was about to say, I was about to jump off and not have something on me, and I need a bucket. So, it turns out that you need oil for... what we're doing, so I'm going to grab some oil. Okay, so here we are. We actually arrived here just in time, and I don't know why we are floating super high in the water. I suppose that's not a bad thing. But anyway, we are actually here, and there should be a bed somewhere, unless I recall wrongly. So, I recalled wrongly. Oh man, there used to be a bed here and now there isn't. That sucks. So, in fact, this used to be the old, there used to be like a bunker here, but now this is the new bunker. I've done some things around here before, and, well, now... I guess you could say we're done with some things. This is actually the SF and symbol DN, which stands for Spaceflight Tracking and Data Network. So, no, that would be SFT and DN. So, the basic role of the Spaceflight Tracking Data Network... Oh, yeah, and by the way, I did want to mention, if you looked at that map, and you thought that I just looked at the Kennedy Space Center and then just threw their BS on there without looking, you'd be wrong. Every single one of these buildings I am building actually has a purpose. So, like for example, the Vehicle Assembly Building is where we make stuff. The launch pad is where we launch stuff. The Visitor Center is where we show off stuff. And you'll notice that there's no science building because, well, you can't really do that much science in Minecraft, so hence there is none. And then you may be looking at stuff like badging office. What the heck is a badging office? Well, badging offices deal with security, so anything that deals with security should go in there. Like, oh dear. What would go in a badging office? Anything that has to do with keeping people out. So there we would put fences inside a badging office. We would put buttons and levers inside a badging office because they would also deal with keys as well. So I'm going to wait until the morning. Except I forgot to tell you what a Spaceflight Tracking and Data Network is. First of all, the launch pad you might be able to see on the dark map, but it's over here. So what happens is whatever we launch will lift off into space, and then as it goes by, we're able to track it through this building here, which is designed like a bunker. And then as it continues to move, it moves eastward and then eventually sets if it goes long range. And if I pull up the map here, you'll see the area where I am here, the spinning thing on the map. That's the short range tracker. And then if you look due east in this direction, there's another set of islands. Those are the medium range trackers, which I'm going to set up longer. And then way out there is another set of islands, and those are the long range trackers. So as the spacecraft rises, they track it as it goes to the horizon, and then it sets. So now we wait for the morning. Get off my spaceflight tracking and data network. You'll ruin the antennas. And there's no place for spiders in space. See, the trick is to get them at just the right time. That way they go off the roof. Oh, man. There's water. I forgot. Check it out. Sunrise over the Adium Ocean. But we got work to do. So we're finally going to build now. And I can tell you what we're going to build this episode. We're going to build a boat dock here for smaller boats to dock. There's my spaceflight tracking and data network. Here's the runway. Here's the B-1. The F-104 is up at... it's at Buzzicunger Beach right now. And here's some stuff I've begun to build. This is the railroad, the main railroad coming through. And here is this wall going around is the pad keep-out zone. This is what's going to be at first an assembly building and then later on an orbiter processing facility when we create space planes, but I don't want to talk about that now because that's spoiler. And here is the crawler framework for anything that we build is going to be moved out to the pad on this set of rails. Actually, the way this is a 4-railed system, so 2 rails are on this set of track and 2 rails are on this set of track. And the entire system moves across here. And this is the actual launch pad itself. So this wall going around is the pad keep-out zone. So no one can be in here when we're launching stuff because of the flame blasts, noise, and reverberances. And then we have the station, and that is the administration building, and there's a bed for sure in there. I thought I had 2 beds, but apparently not. Okay, so we're going to build the launch pad now, and so what I'm going to do is split screen it so that we can see the plan. So one of the great things about this is that there is a... oh no, I don't have something that I need. Well, you know, there's a benefit to this, because on one hand, my trip there is going to be incredibly short, but the trip back is going to take a long time. Okay, so I got some more building stuff now, but anyway, the great thing about this is the plan is super easy in that everything, I've scaled the map to be 1 by 1 meter equals 1 pixel, which means the base of this thing that I'm building should be right here and be 3 wide, so do this. So, I'm not sure if you guys have ever done this kind of stuff before, but I'd imagine you're probably wondering what I'm building now. And since I'd imagine that the majority of you don't do space as a normal thing, I am building the water tower for the sound suppression water system. If you don't know what a sound suppression water system is, shoot, I've lost count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. 7, 8. 7, 8, 8, there we go, 9, 10. A sound suppression water system is basically a water tower that holds water, and when there's a launch of something, it holds a lot of water, and it all releases at once, and basically what that does is that floods the area underneath the launch pad with water. And most people think that the reason... If you know what a sound suppression water system is, most people think that the reason is because that the engines are hot and they overheat the launch pad and melt the concrete, and that's actually inaccurate. That's not the reason. The reason there's a sound suppression water system, oh no, I've stranded myself. What do? Activate parachute module. So the reason there's a the reason it's there is because the noise that's generated on the launch pad, just the absolute shaking of everything. What you do is you put water through there, and the liquid absorbs most of the reverberations and prevents the entire system from collapsing. If you didn't do that, your entire framework would basically be destroyed. Okay, so the sound suppression water system's done. There's also eventually a launch ground escape system, which I'm going to implement, but we're not going to do that right now because that really wouldn't make that much sense. The next thing that we're going to do is install the launcher platform, which should be right here. Perfect. And what I'm doing now is creating a support and access framework, which is basically when you build it, how the thing is actually reached. So in this case, I'm going to be building the initial framework support struts so that I know how to do things. So for the first 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we go in one. That basically tells me that the slope to use, so that I don't forget. 2, 3, 4, 5, in one and up one. And then we just do the same thing over here, except the slope is different. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that should just be like this. Oh shoot. That's actually the first time I've injured myself with this, by the way. If you can imagine that. Oh dear. And I seem to have run out of stuff and now I've straightened myself down. Lovely. Whatever. So that's the initial framework. It looks stupid, but all it's supposed to be is a marker. So I'm not going to actually call that done because this pad is mainly for there's 4 pads. Pad 10 is for spacecraft launches, the unmanned. Pad 20 is for civil spacecraft like the space shuttle and anything else that involves people. Pad 30 is for giant things like the Saturn V. Spoilers. And Pad 40 is for giant, or not giant, but basically freight launches that launch freight and other things into space. And let me see if there's anything else that we can check off. Ah, yes, the fueling system. The fueling system must be installed, and that is as simple as... That actually goes in with the access framework. This is going to be interesting. Okay, well, I'm just going to place it there. It's a little bit different than I imagined. Hopefully it'll accept oil buckets, and I'm not sure if it needs to be powered or not. But anyway, it's time for bed, so I'm going to the thing. I just absolutely love this thing. I get to, don't know what that was for, fly off into the sunset super fast to the door of the administration building. I finally have enough wood to actually build these doors. And then just like that, we're ready for the next morning. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is work on the assembly building. And now I have to decide on whether I want it made out of tin or stone. Tin or stone. Let me think about this. I have actually decided on a mix of tin and stone, because why the heck not? In real life, I believe the vehicle assembly building is actually striped. So this would, I guess, fit in. Now we have to decide what we're going to do with the door, because that is possibly movable. I guess we could create a movable door. But the problem with a movable door is that it could never touch the ground, because if it did, then it would become part of the ground. Decisions. Okay, well, I just won't build it with a door for now. Oh dear. So as for how tall this is going to be, I actually don't know. I think I'm just going to build it until I run out of useful stuff to... Oh, shoot. That's going to be a problem. Forgot about that. So the answer is I want 10 because if I make a mistake, then I can fix it. I just realized this building has to be absolutely freaking gigantic if I ever want to build a spacecraft, a space plane in here. The space shuttle was 60 meters tall, which means we would need at least a 60-meter tall building. And that would take us all the way... Oh, geez, I don't even know if I could fit the thing in here. I probably couldn't even fit it. No, there's no way I could fit it in here. Lovely. I guess I'll have to create it on the pad for, like, eye candy or something. I know when I build the Saturn building, though, I'm gonna build that thing right. So, believe it or not, for the Saturn V, the height limit might be a problem because it's 112 meters tall, and we're already at level 64. So we're gonna come pretty close to the limit. By the way, has anyone heard that any well-developed technology is indistinguishable from magic? Well, the same is true in Minecraft. Any well-developed technology is completely indistinguishable from creative mode. Oh dear. And in that case, that basically means we are building so darn fast, it's as if we have an infinite supply, and the reason is because I have that crazy quarry system up there, which gave me 20,000 things. So right now we're at 15 meters, and this is exactly 1/4 the height that we're going to need to fit the space shuttle in here, which is ridiculous. I mean, I don't see how it can fit on that pad, to be honest. We're probably going to have to just expand and expand and expand, because this place is going to look like a city. Just there's not enough room, and it drives me crazy. At this point, I think I'm done for now. I think I'm going to put a roof on it. Not sure what I'm going to make. I assume it's probably going to be tin decoration blocks, but I'm gonna take care of that while it's dark, because I don't want to go down there anymore right now. Change of plans, actually. I'm going to build until I run out, and then when I run out, I'm going to make a roof of dirt way down there where it won't be a pain in the butt to remove the roof after I build it, so I'm going to do that instead. I'll tell you one thing, I don't know what the heck I was smoking to make me think that the space shuttle was going to fit in here. This isn't even 30 meters. In fact, I think this is just a hair over 20. And this is only 1/3 the height of the space shuttle. And unfortunately, the space shuttle was not very cylindrical. It was more triangular, which means that it's not going to fit in here by any chances whatsoever. But it still will be the height of the vehicle assembly building and will look equally as big, probably. Maybe not so much volume-wise as it will be other-wise, but... I'm going to go ahead and make my flight off of here now. And I think I can make it clear to the admin building, so I'm going to go that way. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is set up the... Actually, never mind. On second thought, I am going to do the spaceflight tracking and data network. Actually, you know what? This isn't going to be that big. That's a third, 2/3, 3/3. Yeah, it's actually not going to be that big. Huh. I thought it was just going to be ridiculous. It looked ridiculous from up there, but that's just one perspective. There's just so much to build, it's ridiculous. So, in terms of what we need to build, we definitely need to build the spaceflight tracking and data network, or we won't be able to track our first launch. And we definitely have to build a launch control center, because if we don't, we won't be able to launch our first launch. And to do that, we're going to need... What do we need for that? Ah, yes, the spaceflight tracking and data network. We need a radar station, but the problem is we're not going to have power, which means I also have to set up the power system, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work yet, because I don't know what the line loss is on that device that I'm going to be using, which is a solar panel. And how the heck am I going to read this thing? Hopefully this thing is 2 meters tall, because what I can do then is stick it right in this wedge here, and then it should be able to track. Let's put that down there temporarily. It ought to be able to track. Yes, it is. Perfect. So it will actually fit into the ceiling, and I will be able to read it from down here. Just get rid of this now. There we go. Okay, so as it says we have no electricity, that's because I haven't set up the power system yet. And then I'm going to have to deal with these things here. Yeah, so I can actually set this thing to let me know when something has been launched. So we can just say at 10 meters, let me know when something is... actually, no, that's going to make the alarm go off when it's within 10 meters, I think. Which means we should set this to 1,000. Oh, come on. And 10 is where I want it to start chirping. Okay, so that works. So the next thing I need to do is figure out whether or not that fuel loading device needs power. Oh dear. If it does, then I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do about the power lines. If it doesn't, then that's good, and we can just continue on with the power system. Okay, so I placed the launch control system here, and I'm looking at the target right now, and this was randomly in here. 12274957. Oh, okay, that's here. I was about to say, what did it decide to default target? And actually, I just realized I'm here because I need to test out the fuel converter. So let's see what happens if I put oil in here. Okay, I am really confused. How is this supposed to work again? Perhaps I need to click on it with the oil? It's not working. Need to figure this one out. Guess what, peoples? Apparently you need a wooden waterproof pipe to pump this stuff out. Although, wait a minute, this actually hasn't converted the fuel. If it converts the fuel, then that means it works, but I have to go all the way back to New Venice to get some cactus, which is, thank goodness I have the cactus, because I had to bring that back here and then reload it. Oh yes, and by the way, it does need to be powered. Okay, let's put this giant solar panel down, and see if it powers up. So we need to create an energy link, and hopefully it'll power from that side, because that's the only side that I can actually place stuff to power it up with. Okay, solar generator, do your thing. Hey, it's working! It looks like it's drawing 179 watts, which is different from what it says usually. If it's drawing 100... Oh my gosh, yeah, this thing has a huge excess, which is good. We always want an excess in this thing, because if not, then it means that we won't be able to power the other things that we're trying to do. Man, this thing is slow. I kind of thought it'd be a little bit faster than this. I'd hate to guess what would happen if the sun set right now. That would certainly cause me grief. Okay, well, I'm going to wait for this to finish processing, then take apart the temporary power system, hop in the B1, and then fly back, and then I'll be back here in a couple hours. No, rocket. Okay, so I'm back now, and I'm building the launch control center now. The launch control center is going to house the firing equipment that's going to be used to launch the crafts. And the floor I'm actually going to build out of genuine stone. Welcome to the Launch Control Center. This is where all of the missions are going to be launched from. Of course, we do need a mission control center at some point. However, it won't be necessary yet. Why am I lagging like crazy all of a sudden? And I don't have it. Lovely. Yeah, at some point we'll need a mission control, but our first launch won't need one. Okay, so what I'm putting down now is perhaps the most important thing of the entire launch facility. This is the launch logic cable, and it controls when the spacecraft lifts off. A signal from this cable will result in the launch commencing. So as a result, it's the biggest deal, and it's the most important that we keep it safe cable, because we don't want a false launch. So now what I need to do is dig a cable straight to the launch control center. Okay, so the cable comes right from the launch pad down into the trench, and it stays in the trench for pretty much the entire time. And I just realized I forgot to bring a precision sledgehammer, which means that this color launch pad automatically defaults to white, but that shouldn't be that much of a problem. As we only are setting up one launch pad. Now, we need to figure out exactly where we want the button to come in this facility. Of course, in real life there is no button, but in Minecraft we can't program, unfortunately, to that level of accuracy. So what I might do is have... Yeah, there we go. And then I can actually put these as placeholders for the time being. And we'll have two spaces between the that one, because that one's the big one. If that one lifts off and it wasn't supposed to, lives are definitely going to be lost. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So now we have a choice. We can put the levers on the floor, and actually I think that's a good idea, because then it covers the hole like that. We just have to remember that back means stay, and forward means launch. So if there was a armed system on that pad, it would have launched. And actually, I'm going to look up a Minecraft AND gate, because now I want a system of ANDs. Oh wait, no, this thing can do ANDs. Never mind. We'll have to implement it at a later time, though. And there'll need to be another signal coming around from the back. So I think what we'll need to do is put an arming device and to figure out what they do, whether they arm from the launch facility or they arm from the PWS pad warning system. And of course we want the pad warning system tied in with that circuit so that when the arming does occur, the light goes from yellow to red, which is what we want. So now I'm going to bury the cable. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is set up the power system. And the way this is going to work is with cables. And I don't have them. But we are able to set up the initial power poles. They need to be spaced at 8 intervals. So every 8 meters needs to be a new power pole. Okay, so I was an idiot again and realized that we're still building another launch pad 40 over here, and the cable needs to be buried. So, yeah, I didn't think so. unfortunate that we have to run the cable by these windows, but I might figure out a solution to it sometime later on, maybe. Because this is a horrible waste of cable. I'll have to remind myself to get rid of that later. Oh, I seem to have entered into an infinite cycle. There we go. Why does this keep happening? That's probably why. Okay, so be it. Okay, so then this cable goes right across to meet the other tower. And that should be right about... there it is. Okay, I need to figure out where launch pad 40 is so that I know where to go underground. Or rather, how far. And it looks like it's right off the edge of this runway. So it looks like I only need to go about 2 or 3 meters down. That should probably be good. Alright, now I'm just going to continue finishing to lay this cable. So this is actually going to be a pretty deep deeply run cable. Don't you hate when you don't have enough but you think you do? I'm going to have to go back and make more. The good thing is it's fairly cheap. It's just steel and... what else? It's like steel and redstone, so it's pretty easy to make. Okay, so after that long event, I've now gotten more cable, and I'm further along with the process now. First of all, I wanted to mention that I built the power station running off of one solar panel, and the cable's working just fine. You can actually see the radar station down there is fully operational. The radar is turning. It is tracking objects, and here is the here's the power station within this containment here. And the cable comes out and feeds toward the Spaceflight tracking data network and the pads. So as of now, I think what I'm going to do in the future is this cable, which is buried somewhere beneath here. It's going to be under one of these rows here. I want to have a parallel network for each pad, so each pad is on a parallel network. But each launch pad needs to be on a series network, because if one thing is wrong, we need to be able to not launch should that one thing fail. So we can actually, since each launch pad doesn't theoretically tie into each other, of course that's not entirely true, we will have to deal with that later, that should be easy. So the plan now is for me to clean up some stuff in my inventory, and then we're getting really close now to the first launch. So, in the late afternoon hours of whatever day this happens to be in 1955, 10 steel and 2 basic circuits. And I've already screwed up. Okay, let's try this again. In the evening hours of whatever this day was in 1955, a fuel bucket, 2 basic circuits, and I left the steel out again. Unbelievable. Okay. In the sunset hours of 1955, whatever this day was, 2 basic circuits, a fuel bucket, and 5 steel were put together to make Norsden Land's first missile module, or you could call it a sounding rocket, for all intensive purposes. So, we actually need a second fuel bucket should we make the other one, but I'm not into making that quite yet. But there you go. We've just created our very first rocket. And there's going to be no payload on it. All it is a rocket. It's going straight up, and it won't have any special things on it. No payload, and of course no... Uh-oh. Looks like we waited a bit too long here. No special payloads, and certainly no weapons aboard. So we're going to launch it, and it's going to go way out into the Adium Ocean, beyond the first island, and hopefully beyond the second island. And there it will likely splash down into the ocean. If we're unlucky, it'll hit one of our tracking islands, and, well, it'll still blow up because it's an impact projectile. But hopefully it won't do that. And that's the plan. So I'm going to put some things away. As of now, I believe we have all of the infrastructure present that we need to do this first launch. This is operational. We don't need launch control this very first time. We can do all the operations from the launch control center, but there will be another separate range control building over here. That will be required in order to launch the bigger things. So the arming will actually be done from a different building. They will arm the signal, and then this place here is the one that actually sets it off. So I'm going to go clean up some stuff now. Okay, so I've installed a battery box so that we would have power at night when the sun's set, but for some reason it doesn't seem to be charging up. So if I'm wondering, that's because we're drawing so much power that none of it can go to charging the battery. But I mean, if you well, that is empty. I really don't know. Okay, well, anyway, the stuff has been cleaned up, and I'm going to see if I can lay down the other cable to the range control, put that foundation down, and then we'll be able to continue with the launch operations. Okay, so I actually forgot that this is RedNet and not Redstone, which means that we don't have to worry about creating separate circuits. So because of that, we can just go straight and lay this cable down right now. I doubt I have enough, though, to make it all the way. Okay, so like I thought, we didn't even get close, but at least that gave us a place to start. So I got all the way to here, and the range control center is there. So I have a little bit more cable laying to do, but that's okay. We don't need it for this particular launch. So once again, I'm going to put my stuff away, and then we can continue with the launch. Okay, so right now I just connected, or rather just disconnected the main power. And obviously the reason for doing that is because we're about to put the rocket on the launch pad. So, I guess, well, it's very difficult to simulate. But if this was, actually, you know what? We can do this, never mind. This will take me only a second. Okay, so I was about to say, if this was Minecraft, then we would be able to actually simulate moving the rocket to the pad. But this is Minecraft, which means all things are possible. So in this case, we actually can simulate a... we can actually simulate moving the rocket to the pad. So I'm going to set that up. I made a slight modification to the system. You used to be able to get into that area in front of the range control center, and I did that so that there was a better view from the launch control center, rather, because range control is over there. And also so that you can't get those annoying people who try and get up in your windows, like doing this from the other side, because that would be very annoying. Okay, so to configure the crawling track to the rocket, we have to break the main line, and then it can proceed. So this will only take a minute or so for it to go through, and we're going to ship it. We're going to ship the rocket down to the launch pad now. I believe that's everything we need. Okay, so rocket is now loaded inside the crawler, and of course we're only using one rail because this rocket is very small, so we can transport it on just one rail car. Well, that was a incredibly inconveniently placed button. Anyway, we're going to ship the rocket down now. So let's get the crawler moving. There it goes. And the rocket has now arrived at the launch pad, meaning I can break the crawler track again. And now we can continue with the main line. So we'll just put the main line right through. And then it's back to normal. Okay. So we're at T-minus 2 days now. The rocket is being transferred from the launch pad to the launcher. Let's just go ahead and do a manual check. Power connection is disconnected. I have the key, which obviously means that it cannot be pulled for that. So let's go ahead and move the rocket around so that we can get it to... okay, it's not going to go the other way, is it? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go the other way. Oh well. So, unfortunately, this isn't possible in Minecraft, but what will happen now is we would have a crane, like so. Oh, don't go back that way. Please don't go. Yeah, it is moving to the side. Okay, anyway. We'd have a crane like so that would pick up the rocket and then move it to the launch pad like this. And that is our rocket that we just built. No, I don't want to do that. I was thinking maybe this thing had a GUI, but apparently I can climb on top of it, which is really scary. How would you like to be flown to space? No, we're not ready for that yet. Jeez. I can't believe that's possible. I can actually hitch a ride in a missile. And that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Alright, let's get this thing back to the vehicle assembly building. Oh, shoot. It's going to go out into the main line. Okay, I can fix this. Hopefully I can fix it before any trains come. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Alright, now we can move it back to the vehicle assembly building. Okay, good. Okay. And now we're ready for regular mainline traffic. So to park it, I guess I'll just put the... Oh, that's not going to help, unfortunately. I guess I'll just put it... No, that's not going to help either. Okay, let's put this thing back on the rails and then leave it there. No, don't fall in the trench. Okay, perfect. It's in place. And I guess we'll just lay this extra track here. Okay. So the rocket is on the launch pad now. So the next thing that we need to do for our countdown... Everything is in check here except for this. The next thing that we need to do for the countdown is to program the rocket's coordinates. And that will come a little bit later. In fact, that will come tomorrow. The reason they move very slow with rockets is because you want to obviously make sure everything is safe. And I just realized another thing that we should be doing now. I put that stuff there temporarily, that wall there temporarily, and it has an open side obviously to move the rockets. There is a rocket on the launch pad now, and that means that tomorrow we're going to... Where did I put the... oh man, I moved it down there. Seriously. So that means that we're going to need to fence off the area when it's time to launch. Because no one can go inside that area when we launch. Despite what the mod thinks about me trying to hitch a ride on that sounding rocket is ridiculous. So let me just take this time and this day to explain exactly what's going on. We don't have a pad warning system up right now, but right now there's a rocket on the pad, which means the light would be yellow. Let me go ahead and bring up the page for that, by the way. Okay, so here it is. This is the pad warning system that I've been talking about, and we're going to have one similar to this in our area, and it looks like the KSC did not actually separate them. But basically, red means danger, you need to clear the area, there's going to be a launch. Flashing yellow is hazardous, which means do not enter, and then yellow means enter with caution. So right now, I believe we would be yellow, because we're obviously going in there. And then, yeah, because it says do not enter even in flashing yellow. So we don't have a pad warning system yet, but we're going to set one up. You can actually do it with pistons and stained glass panels. What you can actually do is stick these in, and when you disconnect them, the panels are just they're just a little pixel or two wide on either side. But then when you push them together, the device connects, and then there's a backlight behind it which lights up the stained glass, and there you get the color. So we'll install the pad warning system around here. But basically right now, The pad is yellow. Yeah, that's no good. Yes, the pad is yellow right now. So I'm going to go ahead and install most of the fencing that we're going to be using. And after I lock the launch sequence and give it the coordinates and leave the area, then we then the pad goes flashing yellow, and everyone needs to clear the area. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the mission now. Yes, the rocket is going to go into space, but it's not going to go all the way into what is orbit. So it'll go to space, but it's going to come back. It's not going to go up there and then stay up there. That will take a lot more research in order for us to be able to send a fully orbiting craft. So this is going to be ballistic. It's going to go up into space for a couple minutes. We're going to, as soon as it launches, we're going to run over the radar station and track it. And then it's probably going to come right back down again for come back down near those islands there. And I actually need to get the coordinates of them. I don't think I have a spyglass yet, unfortunately, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think it's a little bit hard to make as well. I might have gold, but I certainly don't have plastic, so that's going to be impossible to make. And it's getting late now, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next day. Okay, so it's the next day. A lot more needs to happen now. We're now T-minus 1 day. I'm going to put down a temporary warning signal. That's just a no. I use a different warning signal. I was about to say I have a universal warning system or signal that I use in Minecraft. Okay, I'm going to program the coordinates now into the controller. And to do that, we need to figure out where those islands are, and we need to launch it north of the islands. So right here is just north of the island. That's not far enough. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with negative 4980 as the Z. And as for the X, I need to figure out what the range of the map is. Every pixel should be 8 blocks, so I'm going to go ahead and manually count it. Okay, so 20 blocks is a nice round number. So it's going to be 160 blocks plus whatever this launch pad is. So that would be... And we check our math with a calculator now because we're going to launch a rocket. We do not want to get this wrong. 1390, so let's go ahead and round it off to 1400 as one coordinate. So we're going to send the rocket to 1400 and negative 4970 is going to be the coordinate. Hopefully that's where we're going to make it. We're going to see how accurate it is. If it's not, we'll obviously find that out. So let's go ahead and program this in now. So X is going to be negative 1400, or rather 1400, decimal 00, and the Z negative 4970 decimal 00. And locked. Now, I'm not sure why it says it's ready to launch because we do not have power connected, so it should not launch. But anyway, that is done. I'm going to connect power right now, and when I do, we go flashing yellow, and the which is, I guess, danger level 3, if you will. And the pad will be locked down. So now I'm going to launch in... oh my gosh, no. I'm going to connect the power right now. Okay, it's still on the pad, just checking. And now I'm going to GTFO away from this pad. Okay, the pad is now in danger. So everyone has to stay away from it now. We should be fully ready for launch. And if this were a bigger launch, of course, I'd be doing a checklist right now. But this is it. Everything we need to do is ready for launch. I have my lever right here for when I'm ready to actually arm the pad. But that's not right now. Okay, so this is a vehicle assembly building, so I can go ahead and leave some wires in here. No use bringing them back and forth. This is junk. Okay, I'm going to pause the video, and I guess I will see you on the launch day, because nothing else happens from now on. I wanted to also mention that we're not going to be activating the launch sound suppression water system, because the rocket we're launching is so small. I mean, you'll see its real-life component on the split screen with the Spaceflight simulator when we bring it up. Or I should not say the Spaceflight simulator, because it's not meant to be a simulator in this case. But we're going to bring it up. Launch center's open now. And everything else checks out. So we should be ready for the next day. I just realized we have no recovery vessel. And we need one right now. So I'm going to construct one and get it ready for actual use. So the plan is, as soon as it launches, to try and run over to the radar tracking station as soon as possible, so that we can track the flight and see where it lands. Okay, there's our recovery vessel. Okay, so the trick is to jump right up on here and not do that. So that requires a double jump, and then perfect. That will get us here. And when it's time to recover the vessel, the boat will be sitting right here for us to use. Okay, I'm heading to the administration building to take a sleep, and then it's launch day. Okay, it's the next day. We have a lot to do today. We have to launch and recover a rocket, and why did you appear? Because I slept as soon as it got dark. Go away. Unless you want to taste my rocket, which will be flaming hot with fire. There we go. Okay, so we're approaching the T-minus 2 minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and issue the T-minus 2 minute pad warning. T-minus 2 minutes. Danger. clear the launch area. Clear the launch area now for your safety. Okay, so that was the T-minus 2-minute warning. Everything should be set. The pad light would be red now because we're about to launch. I still haven't armed the pad, but that is coming up very soon. T-minus 90 seconds. I have grabbed the arming device. T-minus 1 minute. I'm issuing the T-minus 1 minute warning. T-minus 45. T-minus 30. I'm now placing the arm. Systems are now armed. Arming devices in place. Minus 20. T-minus 15. T-minus 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Ignition. Launch successful. Plus 10. Okay, I think I have it. We didn't get there in time, but yeah, that's what I was concerned about. Plus 20. Plus 30. Okay, so the rocket's down already. Let's go and see if we can recover. Okay, so from what I've seen so far, that looked like a pretty successful launch. But now we have to go dive for it. And using the trajectory line, I should be able to figure out exactly where it landed. So let me go ahead and do the math for that right now. Actually, I just realized I didn't even write down what the location of the launch pad was. So we're going to have to dive for it. I thought I saw it come down somewhere around here. Has anybody seen a rocket down here? Anybody at all? Yeah, I hope it hasn't landed in one of these nasty, one of those nasty holes, because then it, you know, it could be anywhere. We could be over it and not know it. Okay, well, I thought I saw it coming down about here. It's possible it could have gone a little bit further to the north because I did program it to go out there. And I hope it's not down here. Oh, thought I saw something. Now I know there is squids and stuff down there, but I thought I saw something else. Oh, jeez. Well, this is just dandy. See, the thing is, there are valuable electronics on board, so we do have to recover it within about 5 minutes of splashdown, or it will ruin the circuits, and we won't be able to recycle it. Okay, so if the launch pad was in this direction, and we were aiming for 14804970, right? 4970, wait a minute, 1480. Okay, so I didn't go far enough out, maybe? It looked like, though, that it was coming down and had not gone out the full distance, which I was kind of expecting because we shot it technically out of range. But unfortunately, it did beat us to the radar station, which is a little bit unfortunate. We're running out of time. I didn't think I was that far down. Jeez. Yep, we're definitely running out of time. It's weird. I thought it landed on one of these shallower areas, from what I could tell up there. See, it didn't look like it went that far down. Okay, I'm going to quickly do some math. So, I need to hop in the boat and run over to the... Yeah, we're quickly running out of time. We might not be able to recover it. Let me see if I can watch the launch replay and see if it's down there. Okay, so it actually looks like it landed right about here in the video. So it ought to be somewhere down here. Man, where the heck is it? So you see all these shapes down here, but you never know what to think about them. And now it's getting dark, which is going to make it even more difficult to recover. If it's even still down here, it might have gotten ruined. Well, I'm going to pause the video now and see if I can recover it off screen. If not, I might not be able to get it back. Hey, so I've talked to the engineers who built the thing, and they said by now it would just be completely inundated with salt water. so it's lost. But that's okay, because we still had a very successful first launch, and well, we built the Space Center. So with just a bucket of oil, a little bit of power, and about 10 steel, and of course a basic circuit, we can make another one, and we can continue making more and more and more of these. And the fact that it only takes 10 steel, you know, we can make these things bigger and bigger and bigger, and like the thing tried to have happen, maybe one day we could ride one of them. And that would be crazy. So I thank you guys for joining me in this episode. We finally, not us, but Norsden land has made it to space. Well, technically for the second time, because according to Norsden land, the F-104 Starfighter zoom climbed to over 100,000 feet, thereby saying that it was the first thing to space. But I can tell you that this one is certainly a lot higher than the F-104 during that zoom climb. So it made it further into space, and of course it made it in much faster. So I guess we continue on from here. That was kind of weird. And that's basically it. In between episodes, I'm going to be expanding the Space Center, getting it ready for a full liftoff of much larger rockets, and we're going to have a lot of fun with the new life in space, with space travel and everything. So the way I see it right now, we're exactly halfway through the Norsden Land to Neso series. I expect to spend as much time, if not more time, in space than we've spent building Norsden Land to Neso thus far. So obviously that to look forward to. And again, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time for, I guess, a surprise, because I can't figure out what I want to do now besides celebrate. Bye!